Hello, I'm Soxway Up, and welcome back to our first playthrough of Highrise City. Today's episode, we're going to dive into taxes and as well as the laws. We're going to jump into the courthouse and take a look at all the laws that are optional and available for us to use in our city. First, I thought I'd start with a little high overview of the town. Little flyover. It's looking great. I think it's turned out nice. We have, what are we at, about 25,000? Yeah, 25,000 population. So let's jump right into this. We're gonna. Oh, that's kind of loud. Maybe we'll stay back here. So where are the options? So some of these other screens allow us to get to it without having to go to the building. So let's try to find that. If we click on finances, then we can click on laws. Very nice. Let's see, can you resize this? We can move it. Minimize. That's kind of cool. So you could keep a window minimized and hidden. Yeah, some nice features. All right, so there's a ton of laws in here. We'll go through all of them. We're not going to really set any. I don't really think I care to play this way, but I thought we'd go over it. Casinos. We can legalize gambling. It looks like it'll cost, or it'll bring in about $30,000, but it'll cost us 15% of our effective police, and we'll lose 5% of education. So I guess we could off balance that. Tried to do the face cam for this entire video, and I noticed that in OBS it's struggling. Something about this game makes OBS struggle a little bit and causes the video and the mic to get off sync and skip a little bit. So I think we lose a little bit of frames or something's going on with OBS. But anyways, so legalize gambling, we could do that. We could offset it by adding in more education and more police. You could offset it that way. It looks like you enable it just by doing that. We don't want to do that. Minimize that one. Curfew for minors. We lose money, so we have to spend money in this initiative. Police goes up 10%, education goes up 10%, and people are unhappy about that one. We have police special units, which I guess reduces crime rates and costs us about 8 grand, and people don't like it. People don't like the special units. Gun control costs about 5,000 and also increases police by 5. Pretty cool. Free medical care program costs some money, increases the proficiency of your hospitals. CPR training, similar as the last one. Vaccination duty makes people healthier, and religion doesn't like that. All right. Healthcare fees. Citizens have to pay to healthcare themselves. We get some money, and people are a little bit unhappy, and healthcare goes down because of it. Smoke detector protection. That's pretty obvious. That's expensive. Reading campaign increases education by 8%, costs us 8,000. Tuition fees, looks like it brings in money different based on the class, and then also makes them unhappy at a different rate based on the class. Very interesting. Automotive emissions reduction. So that helps with pollution as well as costs some money. Recycled tires cost some money, but helps with trash and pollution, air pollution. Ordinance on air quality. The city imposes a program on the industry to establish an air quality standards. Okay. Costs a lot of money, but decreases this one. That might be interesting. Plastic waste reduction program. Costs some money, but also reduces waste. This one loses. Oh, that's interesting. That one. Oh, I think it was. Oh, here it is. 30 to 100%. Interesting. And then we go down to waste information campaign, which reduces waste, costs us some money. Energy guidelines, same situation there. Food rations. Ooh, that just makes less productive and costs money. Interesting. Cheaper food. I could see these being used in challenges. Cheaper food makes people happy. We just lose money per food, which that's kind of nice. Luxury good tax makes people unhappy at a different rate and costs them different money. The money costs it different. It looks like the money is applied to different things. Interesting. Wealth tax makes no one happy, but only costs the rich. Alcohol tax makes people unhappy, and we get 10% per alcohol sold. Interesting. Nuclear free zone. 3,000 makes people happy. Migration law just costs some money, and I think that also allows a shorter period of time, so you can get people into your town a lot faster by doing that one. Parental allowance just costs some money. I'm sure those amounts change based on how many people need the allowance. No single housing. Apartments are given to families and living communities. This way, apartment buildings will be used more efficiently. Increases the housing capacity of the apartments by 20%. Just costs some money, but you get more people in with less houses. Interesting. And carpooling just costs $8,000 and increases the city's expenses and reduces traffic congestion and pollution. Doesn't necessarily say how much, but it is a thing that it does. So I don't know, maybe some of these might be interesting to implement. We're not really having any issues with people coming in when we build. So I don't really see the value of using those, even though we have unemployment of 10%. Yeah, we're gonna dive into that a little bit later too. So the other thing that I wanted to test out today in this episode, we're gonna test it live. Let's try using the shortcuts. That's not what I wanted to do. Hit the little finances. Let's go into, oh, it's not in here. It is in here, taxes. Okay. We're gonna come in here and see we have 97% for that group, 99% and 89%. They're pretty happy. So let's start with the first one. We're gonna bump it up to 16%. Let's speed it up. Let's go close to the craftsmen's houses and see. That's where this will come in handy. See if we notice anything. Taxes for craftsmen. Okay, so that's up to 16%. Let's go back over to our craftsmen. So they dropped to 93, but it doesn't say why. If I click on a house, tax at 16%. They're at 96, so this house is at 96. Let's see what happens when we max it out. Let's let it run for a little bit. Let's see what happens. So we've been running this for a little bit, and the percentage is at 79 satisfaction now. It was way up. So let's, it seems that does negatively affect them. We're not losing people. Like, our numbers have stayed relatively the same, 25,000. But if we drop it all the way down to 0, let's see if it has the opposite effect. Let's see if it goes all the way to 100. And then a good one to test that on would definitely be our engineers right now, because they're at 89. These other groups, the craftsmen, were floating pretty close to 100% anyways of satisfaction. So let's see if that's a way to kind of trick it. Our income for that group shouldn't matter too much. We're still making it from fish and vegetables, but none from rental income. So yep, let's let this run and see where our satisfaction number ends up. So we did get to 100 satisfaction. Very interesting. The true test here is going to be finding the taxes for the engineers. And we can do offices next. Let's grab the engineers. Let's reduce them to 0. Let's open up their satisfaction window. It's already climbing. Let's see if it gets all the way to 100 or not. It was at 89. So we're sitting at 99 for a good amount of time here. Don't think it'll get all the way to 100, but what I'm gonna do, let's leave these windows. Let's minimize them. I talked bad about it, and then I realized the magic of it. Okay, so what we're saying here is all the consumer goods are pretty good. Let's take a few of those and kind of manipulate them to not be good. We're not going to save this, so it's fine. All this is fine. Hops, that's our beer. Actually, that's one right there. We could do that. Breweries are shut off. And then if we come over, yeah, right here, let's go to the t-shirts, as I call them. Let's shut that off. We got another t-shirt factory here. All right, so let's go to their satisfaction. Let's go back to taxes, put them at 12%, and let the game catch up. All right, they're pretty sad. I think this turns yellow, maybe when it gets under 50%. So let's see. So let's go ahead and switch to our income. And we got 62%. I was hoping that would drop. It's dropping a little bit, then I went back up to 61. If we can get that to drop below 50, we're gonna dump the taxes and see how high we can get satisfaction to climb. Okay, so 62 seems to be about where it's floating. So let's go to our engineers. Let's drop the tax down to 0. So 61, let's see how much it gains us. Will it be 71? Will it be a lot higher? Let's find out. So it was 71, so it seems like there is a 20% sway that you could have, 10% negative or 10% positive. Well, no, it's a 10% positive, and it was about a 35% negative. How negative was it? Let's go back and find for sure to finish this message, or this science experiment. All right, so they're at 99% right now are the craftsmen. Let's see how low that goes in a few minutes. So it seems like about a 20% loss in happiness. They're still not unhappy though. Interesting. So we had a couple tests there where it looks like you change nothing with the satisfactions of food or religion or the services, and you can make a positive gain of about 10% happiness or a negative loss of 20% just by adjusting the taxes. And then the certain percentages, the gaps that you could figure out are probably where you'll see a different amount of happiness shift back and forth. And then it came to, we dropped the happiness as much as possible for the engineers, and we only gained 10%. The next thing we're gonna do is we're going to, and this will be the last thing we're gonna do. We tried 15%. Let's go to 18%, and we'll see if we can get the happiness of the craftsmen higher. I guess the goal would be to get the craftsmen back to 99 to see if the 18% isn't negatively affecting. If we get it close to that, and then we have to scale it back, we'll find the happy place of the maximum tax you can charge people without affecting their happiness. So what I'm doing right now is seeing how low the satisfaction has to get before we start getting a mass exodus of people. And it seems to be about 65%. So we're gonna leave on some notes. Taxes are based on this test. You increase it by 1%, you're gonna lose a little bit of happiness. The most happiness you're gonna lose is 20%. The most happiness you can gain with taxes seems to be 10%. We went over a bunch of laws as well. I'm trying to think of what else to recap here. We went over all the laws that we didn't implement any of them because we're definitely not saving this game right now. So yeah, so taxes, 20% negative, 10% positive. Seems like people won't leave your city until their class or their group is at about 65% happiness. So you probably can get away with the max taxes as long as all the other needs are met for the citizens. And I think that's going to be my conclusion for today. I'm Socksway Up. I'll catch you on the next one.